Stop the FOMO. Do you have a fear of missing out on Samsung's 89-inch MicroLED TV capable of 2,000 nits? Well, after hints all last week, Samsung finally released its 89-inch MicroLED TV at China's Appliance and Electronics World Expo, China's equivalent to CES. Samsung's 89-inch MicroLED TV will begin its global release in China first, then Korea, USA, and Europe and the Middle East. What are the specs? Well, 2000 nits peak brightness, but the window size is all that we don't know. And since it's self-emissive, infinite contrast, so very similar to OLED in the dark levels. And lastly, the price. But first, let me introduce today's sponsor, Hookeys. Yep, you just finished your big old PC Windows build. You have the best of the best, and sadly, you have less than $20 to your name. Hookeys to the rescue. Use my code SF20 and immediate discount. Let's quickly go through the activation process after you've purchased Windows 10 on Hookeys. Go to your Hookeys account and select My Purchased Orders. See your order. To the far right, click on the button that says View Keys Codes to see the Windows CD code. At the bottom of this order where it says Code Card, to the right is the product key you need to activate Windows. So copy this long number, then go to the Windows menu and click on Settings. In the Settings menu at the bottom, select Update and Security. Select Activation, then select Change Product Key, paste what you copied from Hookeys, click Next, click Activate, and you're done. You can download the Windows 10 Pro key and you're up and running. But that's not all, folks. Hookeys has keys for games too. Steam, Origin, Uplay, you name it, you got it. Check out their sites. There are discounts for all sorts of stuff. And most importantly, you want to be productive? What about Office Suite? Yep, you can download a copy of Office Professional with my code SF20 at checkout, and bam. Lastly, the price. What do we think it's going to cost? Just under $80,000 is the rumor, but let's have some context. In 2015, Sony's 100-inch Z9D was $60,000. That's about $76,000 in today's dollars. The biggest differences are back in 2015, the 100-inch Sony Z9D with backlight master drive, of course, had 3D and it was 100 inches. Today, for a similar price, you're getting a slightly smaller 89-inch TV with infinite contrast, much brighter, much better color, luminance, and saturation, but no 3D. So the question for you guys is, if you had that amount of money to spend, would you rather have infinite contrast, super bright, super color saturation, or slightly larger, slightly worse color, but with 3D? Now, LG also sells a 97-inch OLED if all you want is self-emissive, and that's only $25,000. But people also want that brightness, that 2,000 nits, which the LG G2 97-inch is not capable of. It's more of a typical OLED TV performance like the C2 or the C3. And next up, it's official. The OLED TV era has begun. I know you're saying, wait, OLED TV era? Hasn't LG, Sony, Philips, Panasonic, and many others been selling OLED TVs for several years now? Yes, but the largest premium high-end TV maker has not. Samsung TV this year, for the first time, is actually promoting OLED with a big marketing push it did not do last year. Last year, it snuck out the S95B at Best Buy, right? It was in the back. You actually had to ask for it. But now, this year, no longer. So let's take a look at Best Buy. I was just there yesterday, so you can see for yourself where this marketing push is going. Look at the size of the space, right? Not only is there a section on the wall for OLED TVs, but there is also an additional floor space for OLED TVs. 2 additional floor space for OLED TVs. And look at the size of the Samsung floor space compared to Sony and LG. Samsung is really investing in its presence. For some context, check out the Roku wall space and the Fire TV wall space. And smaller still is the Hisense floor space. Now notice, the Samsung OLED spaces do not say QD OLED. I mean, they mention quantum dot, but they're focusing on the word OLED. This is important, and this is why. Remember, Samsung is in negotiations with LG Display to procure 1 million, 2 million units of WOLEDs from LG Display because they are planning to replace their LCD TVs, the high-end flagships, right? The Neo QLEDs and some of the QLEDs with WOLEDs from LG. So if they're going to mix their QD OLEDs with WOLED, it's too confusing to call one QD and one WOLED, and it's easier just to say, oh, they're OLEDs. This is the more expensive OLED, and this is the less expensive OLED, and so forth. So my expectation next year is something along the lines of the flagship being QD OLED, then maybe a slightly less bright QD OLED or an MLA version of WOLED, and then WOLED without MLA. This allows Samsung to have a mix of various pricing tiers for their OLED TVs as they transition out of flagship LCD Mini-LED TVs into OLED TVs. Now there's always a place for super bright Mini-LED TVs. Maybe their 8K TVs will be the super bright Mini-LED TV. There may be one super bright flagship Mini-LED TV like a QN95C equivalent, but the rest may be a mix of OLEDs, WOLEDs, and so forth. Now many of you are asking, why would Samsung make a move away from the more profitable LCD TV, Mini-LED TVs to a WOLED purchased from LG Display? Because it appears this would be a little bit more expensive than this, right? The Mini-LEDs. The problem is that now that China is in full control of panel production of LCD TVs and Mini-LED TV panels, Samsung is at their mercy. The supply chain is unpredictable, and Samsung would rather lock in a supply of 2 million units of WOLEDs from LG Display, which they know LG Display will produce, rather than assume there will be enough Mini-LED LCD panels from China. This is less predictable, so they will go to LG Display and get some of these premium panels to take up that mid-tier flagship space. Additionally, LG Display needs the business, so they will be very competitive with their pricing. But between the two OLED technologies, right, WOLED from LG Display and QD OLED from Samsung's own Samsung Display, why would you buy LG's G3 WOLED versus the Samsung S95C, especially if they are so similarly priced? Well, check out my reviews and comparisons here, and over here is more TV news and industry updates. Until next time, stop the FOMO.